It's nice to be part of it. Thanks for the invitation. So for those who don't know me, my name is Alexandra Chen. I work within digital solutions at the Dean's office. And today we've been invited to give a very high level overview and maybe a starting conversation around AI for more specifically for administration at the Faculty of Medicine. Everyone's coming with their different perspectives, levels of usage around AI, but this is meant to be just the start of a conversation and sharing some of what UBC has been doing and some of the privacy and security considerations. So I'm joined here by Malaya Taylor from the Privacy and Security Office at UBC, and also Amy Carroll, I see you here, from UBC IT. We're working with them and have been presenting to various units around administration at the Faculty of Medicine. So maybe before we start, I'll let Malaya, Taylor, and Amy say hi and introduce themselves.
Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Malaya Oliver. It's nice to be with you. As Alex mentioned, I'm joining you today with a couple of my teammates. We've got Taylor here, and I've also opened the floor for Jamie to attend, just so she has some visibility around the engagement in this group. We are joining you from PRISM within Safety and Risk Services. We support units across the university with their adoption of technologies. We enable privacy impact assessment, security threat risk assessment, security reviews, privacy training, and some advisory services. It's nice to be here. I'll pass it to Taylor.
Thanks, Malaya. Yeah, so as Malaya mentioned, I report up into herself, and I am the Information Security Risk Advisor here at UBC, and I've had the pleasure of dabbling with a number of the different AI reviews, so here to help out where I can. I'll pass it over to Amy.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today. My name is Amy. I'm from UBC Central IT. I support the UBC IT's AI governance structure throughout the campus and also within UBC's various AI initiatives. So I'm here to share more about what UBC IT has been doing on the AI front with you today. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'll start sharing my screen. And yes, so we have a short presentation today, and one of the things that I say usually when we do this presentation is we are not necessarily the only experts in the room around AI. There's a lot of people who know a ton around AI, a lot more than we do in some cases. So we are looking forward to also learning from folks if they have any questions or comments. Hopefully there will be some time for a little discussion after, or any kind of questions and answers that we can facilitate. So let's okay, so let's jump right in. So if we speak about AI, most people have used it in their work already, but not everyone. So it's good to have a little sense before we start. So I'm going to post in the chat, if I find a window. Yeah. The link to a quick survey. It's an anonymous survey that kind of asks people what platform they are using, if they're already using AI, if they're not, what concerns they have, or what are the barriers, and I forget what the questions are exactly, but what kind of tools are being used and what the level of comfort is for people. So feel free what I'm speaking during this presentation or after to provide some answer. There's I think 5 questions, and it's anonymous and it's super quick. So what we're going to talk about today, as I mentioned, I'm going to provide a kind of an overview of some of the things that are happening around the Faculty of Medicine on AI. It's really hard and I would say impossible to capture everything that's happening today at the different levels, whether it's in research, educational, the policies. But there are some larger initiatives that we can talk about. For UBC and UBC IT specifically, Amy will walk us through some of the platforms that have been developed and some of the initiatives that are happening. And then Malaya will walk us through some of the privacy and security considerations, as I mentioned. And then if we have some time, a little super quick demo around, we'll focus on Copilot that everyone should have already access to on their desktop or in their browser, and some Q&A. As a heads up, because I know this is a very various group within pathology, what we won't necessarily be discussing until today is the educational portion of AI. So how to manage students and how to deliver teaching and learning with AI and these kind of considerations. This is really focused on administration tasks. Okay. So some of the AI initiatives that I can mention happening at the Faculty of Medicine, one of them is we're looking at developing a Faculty of Medicine AI strategy. So that's not happening in complete independence from the institution and from UBCIT. We are part of the institution and we want to kind of leverage as much as possible on that front. All that being said, the Faculty of Medicine does have some specificities around clinical care and healthcare. So that's why we need something that's a bit more specific with regards to how the faculty in general is going to approach AI requests, policies, and guardrails because of the higher security risk in healthcare. So that's in development. We are starting to consult with Faculty of Medicine community members, whether again that's in research or in education, faculty members, we're looking at students too. So we get a broad range of perspectives in there. The AI and Health Network is active and there's been a lot of press around it. So I think you can look it up and they've been doing great projects. There's also something called the Artificial Intelligence and Technology Enhanced Care Collaboration, AITCCC. And this is one of the things I've learned about in the consultations that we've been doing. There's a lot more that is happening, but these are some of the interesting, I guess, projects or committees that are happening that I thought we could mention here. The info sessions for administrators and for faculty here. So for administrators, this is an example. We're just starting to kind of start talking a bit more about AI, and I want to say demystify what AI is and what people can do with it. I will very quickly go over digital solutions. We're also been doing work around just getting ready for AI. Our Deputy CIO of Medicine, Grania McElroy, to who I report, is part of the Gen AI steering committee at UBC that Amy is going to mention. And we've been working on data and infrastructure readiness so we can better support some of the requests that we are starting to get around AI initiatives. On that, I'm going to pass it to Amy for a flavor of the UBC initiatives.
Great, thank you, Alex. So to follow up on what Alex mentioned about the AI steering committee, it is a provost mandate to bring all the various components and perspectives from the campus together to talk about what do we want to do on the AI front and where does UBC position itself with AI initiatives. So it has the administrative perspective, teaching and learning, and then research, and operation, of course. So that's where we have a big steering committee. And then within it, there's subcommittees that focuses on specific stream, such as the Student AI Advisory Council that has all the representatives from students who join that committee to talk about what are students looking for in terms of AI, whether it's guideline, can I use AI in my course? How do I use it ethically and responsibly? And then there's the training and PD development for subcommittees for staff and faculty. So staff is being handled and looked after by the central HR. And then faculty is being looked through after the CTLT, Center for Teaching and Learning and Technology. So we have various components of the subcommittee that works on specific initiatives of the AI. And then we come together, we share resources, and then we develop new guidelines and support and toolkits to help people with understanding AI because it is everywhere. But we sometimes just say, where do we start? AI is this broad, right? So we are working on chipping away at that. There are various AI projects and training pathways in development. And within IT now, we have various pilot projects that we started, such as the chatbot. There's a large language model, which is only the data is contained within UBC, so the data doesn't go out to be used for training. And we also have a digital experience lab where we pilot various AI projects. And of course, our AI enterprise data protected tool is the Copilot M365, which we'll do a demo at the end. Next slide, please. So as AI is becoming everywhere, and we do have a strong interest in trying to explore using tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, custom bots, and like other AI, various AI tools to help us be more productive and efficient in our lives. So UBC is taking a cautious but proactive approach. We want to make sure we balance the innovation with the ethical, privacy, and then the social responsibility, environmental responsibility, and of course, the academic integrity consideration. So we do have a guideline, which I'll share in a bit. Next slide, please. I'll just quickly go over what the various levels of AI solutions we have been piloting with various faculties and departments across campus. So the top, we have embedded AI, which is usually embedded within an existing platform, like in Workday or in Salesforce. So if you log into Workday right now, you'll see at the top right corner, there's a little chat bot icon that you can start chatting. So instead of say, look for your vacation balance or submit vacation balance, you can use the AI chatbot in the function and say, please book my vacation on October 17th, and they'll book it for you. And so that's the embedded within existing platform. And then the next level, we have a platform AI, which is to deliver developmental capabilities. So for example, using a platform like a local large language model that I mentioned earlier, we have all the data contained within UBC. We're currently piloting that with the provost office for data analysis because they do a lot of data analysis and reports. So we want to make sure all the UBC business data remains at UBC and not go out in the open source. So we have done various pilots on that, and then we will eventually roll out, but that's currently in the pilot stage. And the next level, we have Bespoke AI, which is a custom solution for a specific use case. So for example, a course tutor bot that faculty has created to be implemented in their course, or in IT, we are piloting a smart triage, which is we have our IT help desk, which receives about 4,000 to 5,000 tickets a day sometimes, especially in the peak season during September. So we have used the AI to filter and then triage to the various specific service owners. So then we can take a look at which one are the priority ones, and then using AI to help us assess those and get to the right person to be addressed faster. So that's in pilot right now. So we are doing well on that. And then the last level is the individual AI that's usually built by a single user based on their needs, such as an IT staff or a researcher. So that's a very specific niche area. So that's like the whole model. And we have various AI projects that we are working with various faculties. So if you want to learn more, you can go on the UBC IT website, and there's a catalog service catalog that talks about all the AI solutions UBC IT provides. Next slide, please. So we also do partner with various faculties and researchers on the teaching and learning side. So these are some of the examples. I won't go through them all in the interest of time, but I will just highlight one example that is quite interesting is the JIS or Moot Core. It was built to be a core simulation for first-year law students using virtual reality with large language model, so that first-year students don't get the anxiety and just nervousness when they go and see the judge and present their cases. So using a virtual reality helps them get familiarized with the court setting, help them learn better, and it's been one of the featured project across Canada actually. So definitely, if you're interested, Google it. You'll find out more information about it. Next slide, please. And then within the administration, these are some of the projects that we've been working on. I mentioned the second one, the smart triage, but there's various other ones, such as we use a lot in cybersecurity to filter and do incident handling, and also policy bot, as UBC has lots of Senate policy, board policies. We are testing that to see how we can retrieve the information. Like you talk to a chatbot and say, can you help me understand, is there a policy around XYZ? And then they'll come up with that. So that's something that we are piloting with the University Council's office. Next slide, please. So if AI is everywhere, how do we govern and manage the risks? So I will now pass it on to Malaya, who will share more about that. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Perfect. So now that we've covered UBC's overall approach, I want to bring some attention to the kinds of projects that we see at PRISM. I mentioned earlier that our team works with university units across the campus, looking at supporting the use of technologies, and certainly AI tools are starting to come into the fold. We do this through the Privacy Impact Assessment, or the PIA process. It's a process, but it's also a document, a report that dives into the privacy, information security risks with some recommended safeguards to help projects maintain compliance around institutional and regulatory frameworks that are relevant. Now, AI is evolving very quickly, but the fundamentals of responsible use remain quite steady. As we see them, projects at UBC tend to follow some really simple steps in their planning. I want to share them with you here. There's 3 to name. So number 1, we're looking at classifying the data and system by risk level. What do I mean by that? At UBC, information and systems are classified from low to very high risk. This is in accordance with UBC's Information Security Standard U1. We'll drop a link for you to have a deep dive if you want. Understanding the data and the system is going to really help you. In the context of AI project, why does this matter? It's really the baseline. It's going to tell you how sensitive the data is, how risky the system is, and whether a tool can be just used or it needs additional safeguards. And those additional safeguards could be achieved through a privacy impact assessment or a security review, or even sometimes an STRA. Step number 2 is understanding the tool type and the risks. Amy mentioned that there are different types of tools in our ecosystem: individual, platform, bespoke, embedded. Now, all of them are not the same. Each tool carries different risk profile. So the deeper the integration and the more data it touches, the higher the stakes. So recognizing the tool type early helps projects pull in the right partners before they make commitments. And lastly, the third tip for projects that are considering AI, this is about aligning with UBC's governance and faculty pathways. Good planning does not happen in isolation. It means bringing the right people at the right time. Units are ultimately responsible for engaging governance partners at UBC. That could be information security, it could be architecture, it could be data governance, sometimes it could be procurement, and sometimes it's us, PRISM, to help you with your PIAs. If you can follow these 3 steps when you are initiating projects, not just AI, it helps you with problems and surprises, things like overcollection or accountability gaps that could really impede the success of your projects. Next slide, please. Now, I want to bring it down to the day-to-day decisions that you and your teams make. I want to share with you some do's and don'ts. Number one, do stick with tools UBC has safeguarded. Free tools could train on your data or it could even keep your data. UBC assessed tools don't. Tools like Copilot Chat, which is available to you at UBC, comes with enterprise safeguards. That means there's limited retention, there's no training use, and we have contractual safeguards. Protections in place. These are things you won't get with free tools like ChatGPT. Second, do manage data carefully. I mentioned earlier that data and systems are classified at UBC according to the risk level. So understanding the risk level drives the safeguard. Third, do limit what you share. So the less you share, the safer you stay. Every extra detail in your AI use can increase risk and reduce control. An attachment or an identifier can add up to bigger privacy risks that you want to avoid. Another do, review outputs carefully. AI drafts, but you should decide. You are ultimately accountable for what goes into decisions and UBC records. Validate key facts against authoritative UBC sources and only use outputs you've confirmed. That means check your citations, check your sources, check your calculations. And last, do ask before you use, and when you're in doubt, reach out. If you're unsure whether a tool is appropriate or safe, ask first. There's lots of support available across the campus, starting with digital solutions, legal counsel in the Office of the University Counsel, or of course, our team at PRISM. Now, just a few don'ts, some risks for you to avoid. Don't reuse your CWL password. You should always use unique logins for other services. AI is not the exception. Don't assume your prompts are private. Treat every input as if it could be public. Never paste personal health information, health data, or anything you wouldn't say in an open meeting. This is for tools in general. There are now some tools that may be approved for a specific use case, so this doesn't cover that. This is just for general use of AI. Don't proceed on click-through terms. Now, a lot of these tools are coming with click-through agreements. Remember that your admin head of unit has to approve your use and that your unit takes on the risk. If privacy terms are missing or unclear, contact the Office of the University Counsel for support. Don't rely on vendor assurance alone. What do I mean by that? Marketing claims or popularity of a tool don't replace due diligence. Vendor referrals and assurance aren't transferable. UBC will always have to do its own checks, and we can help you. Lastly, don't ignore security risks. This is something you often hear about AI. AI can be misused for deep fakes or fraud, like fake emails, calls, videos that look real. There are threats, and these threats are quickly evolving. UBC will support you with guidance and policy as threats evolve. I want to highlight U12, if I can get Taylor to drop a link here. This is a new information security standard highlighting some of the restricted software services here at UBC. And if you need help with anything we've discussed, and if you have an initiative that you want to use, please feel free to reach out to us. I'm going to pass it back to Amy to walk us through the training pathways. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Malaya. So for the training, as I mentioned before, we do have a subcommittee on the training and PD committee to talk about what kind of training to develop for various roles and various needs. So right now, Central HR is working on an AI foundational course for all staff, and that will be rolling out in around early next year. And there will be a various components, and then with resources that will be in different format, whether it's video or self-paced resourcing. So keep an eye for that. We'll be sharing more details through the Gen AI website once that is ready. So, and that's the staff side. And then for faculty, there's also a lot of resources. I know this group is mostly staff, but just so in case faculty ask you, CTLT has a lot of resources on their website, and they do have a lot of course design evaluation support for that as well. So that's the role-specific training. Can I get the next slide, please? So UBC IT has worked on developing an AI competency framework, and in conjunction with the training and PD development subcommittee, and basically has level 1 as foundational, level 2 proficient, level 3 expert mastery. So we have different layers. So depending on your role, like everyone will have the foundational knowledge. And then if you work in more specific technical roles that you require more AI specific knowledge or tools, then that will be applied. And then there is also a layer of the ethical, legal, environmental impacts, privacy, indigenous knowledge, protection, etc. And then there's another layer on teaching and learning. So as I mentioned, we will be going through more, we will be developing more resources and videos and training guidelines when the time is ready. Next slide, please. So Malaya mentioned there's a lot of PIA tools and the approved process already for what solutions can be used. We will be publishing some information like that on the Gen AI website, if not on the PIA website. So it is coming soon for usage guidance so that you know what tools you can use. Next slide, please. Oh, so we are going into the demo. I'll turn it back to Alex for the demo. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna pull the slides down. In the meantime, well, actually, I'm gonna show this one. In the meantime, actually, if people have any questions or comments that they want to post, feel free to do that. I think you should be seeing the notes here. This is what I'm going to mention in the demo today. So M365 Copilot chat, like I mentioned, is available either in your browser, or if you go into Windows and search M365 Copilot, it should be popping out. As mentioned here, only medium risk data only. So all the kind of privacy and security guidelines that Malaya mentioned do apply. If you want more news, I did put a link here. We'll show the slides after. This is where you'll find all the information regarding the rollout of M365 Copilot chat at UBC. There's a lot of information to get there. Okay, so I think you should still see my screen. I'm gonna pull what Copilot looks like on my end here. So like I mentioned, this is the desktop version of it. The one thing that is actually very useful that I learned while doing these presentations is this thing, the little check mark at the top right here. It might be in a different spot if you're opening in your browser. But look out for this check mark and the fact that it's green here. This will ensure you that you're using M365 Copilot chat within the tenant, the bounds of the UBC agreement that we have with Microsoft, and not, for example, on your own kind of account with Microsoft. So it's the way I see it is just a little bit more protected than your regular ChatGPT or Gemini that you may use. So in general, for work questions, I typically would use Copilot Chat here. Again, I realize that a lot of people, may already be using it, but in case this is a bit newer for you, and maybe to kind of show some of the administrative things that we can do with it. There's a lot of prompts that are there that you can use, but we can. I'm just going to put a prompt that I've put in before here. If I want to summarize the benefits that UBC has for clinical faculty, it will basically go on the web and find instructions and guidelines and information that are out there for clinical faculty. There's the sources where you can kind of trace what the information is. Don't necessarily rely on what Copilot Chat is telling you for accuracy. Always double check what it's telling you. There have been cases and examples of precedents where AI doesn't necessarily either understand the context or tell you the information that is fully accurate. So always have what we call a human in the loop and someone to check what it's telling you. Another good use case for Copilot Chat that we have currently is for meeting transcriptions or meeting summaries. And I will profess that the version that we have currently at UBC of M365 Copilot it's not the one that goes into the meetings, transcribes, and then summarizes automatically. What you can do is record a meeting and then get the transcription, which is in a document, put that in Copilot Chat and ask it to summarize or provide you with the key takeaways. So just to give a quick look at what that could look like, I generated, thanks to Copilot Chat, a meeting transcript, a fictional meeting transcript, and I put it in a Word document. So I'm just going to pop it in here. And I'm going to ask what are the key takeaways and action items from this meeting transcript. And so it's going to take the transcript and it's going to basically provide a summary of the takeaways. So that's something that could be useful for folks in administrative positions where there's a lot of meetings that happen, and we need to have quick summaries of some of them. And just for reference, this is the transcript that Copilot generated for me. I think I just asked for a meeting transcript, a fictional meeting transcript that I could use. So it's literally, what that would look like if you were to transcribe one of your meetings in either Zoom or in Teams. Okay, I think that's all for the demo. I think we went fairly quickly actually today. I'm completely open. I think we're all open to any kind of comments or questions. Hopefully it's been useful. But yeah, I wanted to open it to Genevieve and the rest of the group to see if there's any questions.
Thank you, Alexandra. This was an excellent presentation, and some of the tools you presented to the staff I've started to use in pathology and laboratory medicine and found it very helpful to assist them with their workload. I'd open it up to members of the department. Do you have any questions or comments for Alexandra and her colleagues?
I see one in the chat here. Feel free to continue popping them in the chat. There's also, I think there should be a Q&A here. And then, or you can just raise your hand and you'll come up at the front. So someone's asking, can someone tell if you've used Copilot? So this is an interesting question. I don't think
Alexandra, if I can jump in. So for Copilot, Laura, I think that both Shelley and Donald have used Copilot, Donald for taking minutes. I'm wondering if either one of them would like to share their experience with it.
I can. So I've used Copilot for transcribing minutes, but I always put a disclaimer at the bottom. You can see that just the language is slightly off. So, but we always, if I'm using an AI, I always put a disclaimer at the bottom to say it's being generated by AI with human editing. So is that what people were asking? Because the minutes are pretty good, I have to say. I've been really, really impressed, and I think the more I get used to it, the easier it will become, or the more my team get used to it, the easier it will become, and the more it's all about your what instructions you give Copilot to what you actually get out, and you can actually tell Copilot to, just please, I don't ever say please, go through the minutes that you've just generated and improve the improve the grammar, and it will go through and it will check itself as well, and then it will just give you more, and it's getting better and better. So yeah.
Thank you, Shelley. Donald, what about you?
I can add to that. I always say dear Copilot when I start, because somehow I just feel that it's like a real person and it gives me a better answer. I've been using it for minutes and for some other things as well. As was discussed earlier, all you need to have is a transcript. And then from the transcript, you can feed it into Copilot. And then I find that the better the questions or the better the things that you give Copilot to do, the better your result. So for instance, when I'm doing minutes, I'll have a transcript and I'll say, dear Copilot, can you please summarize these notes into bulleted points, blah, 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 whatever other details I want. And can you compare the notes against the agenda that I've also provided as a document? And then it looks at both of them and then gives you a better transcript. The more information I find that you give it, the better the results. And even if you just change the wording a little bit on what you're looking for, it'll give you a different result. And it also learns as you go along. So for your next set of minutes, if you ask it the same thing, it'll say, do you want to do it like the minutes we did before? And then it keeps giving you other options. You can keep adding more and adding more and adding more. I've got it to a point now when I'm doing notes that, depending on what I ask it for, I can get a pretty much complete set of minutes that then I just have to go and put my own spin on it, because I have a particular way that I like to do minutes. And I've found it very, very, very helpful. I just did a set of minutes recently that I said, okay, can you go into these minutes now and produce me a complete list of action items for everybody? And it spits out an Excel spreadsheet that has all the action items for everything that was mentioned. So I think it works really well. It's a very, very useful tool.
Thank you, Donald. I see Taylor's added that from a technical perspective, there are hidden characters that are typically added to the text it generates. Images it generates are also signed and traceable back to the model that generated the image. Thank you, Taylor. Any other questions? I'm wondering, I know that there are graphic tools in AI. I've only briefly played around with them in terms of creating like posters or announcements. Has anyone on the call used those tools, and what have you found?
I can start by sharing a couple that maybe Genevieve you've seen in a previous presentation, but so when, for example, with my example for the clinical faculty, the benefits, one of the things you can do is take that and put it in something like Canva AI or something like napkin.ai, and it will generate it in workflows or infographics or posters, whatever you want, you can do. But yeah, I'd be curious to hear if anyone else is doing this sort of thing.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the group or comments? No? Okay. Well, I'd like to thank Alexandra, you and your colleagues for coming to present. This was very helpful. I think the world keeps evolving and the tools help. We've found in our office in terms of with the workload. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank
Have a great day.
you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.